Show of hands, how many of you stayed in a voice chat with 5 dudes and played Destiny 2 for 30 straight hours doing the world's first race for Salvation's Edge? What? Just me? Oh. Okay then. Salvation's Edge has finally released with the Final Shape expansion, and let me tell you, this raid is categorically an absolute goddamn insane asylum. And I enjoyed every minute of it. Well, you know, maybe the last 90 minutes or so where my eyes started getting red, that wasn't fun. But the rest of it was fantastic. Same goes for the entire expansion. Honestly, when I got to play the expansion, minus the server issues, I already thought this was comfortably going to be the best expansion they've ever done. But then this raid releasing and basically becoming the sequel to Last Wish Day 1, it is solidified in stone that this expansion is miles ahead out of anything Bungie's ever done. Anyway, back to the raid exotic. So upon completing the contest mode version of Salvation's Edge, your fire team will get the raid exotic automatically, which is Euphony, a 3-burst linear fusion rifle that is strand that goes into your kinetic slot. This thing is actually pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. So for those of you that don't know what this weapon does, this states on the Spindle perk that threadling damage increases this weapon's damage. And from all that I've seen using this weapon, this goes up to a whopping 100% extra damage. And then the intrinsic trait on this weapon is dealing sustained damage with this weapon spawns threadlings at your target's location. Before I go further, let me just show you this clip of me doing solo damage with this weapon while my teammates were simply there to just provide a buff/debuff. And then to the target, 3.6. That is better. Now for a weapon that's not even a heavy slot weapon, that's simply there to just spam M1 or whatever your fire button is on your controller, and then just throw some threadlings, this thing actually smacks quite a bit. I was a bit skeptical going into just trying this weapon out because, quite frankly, threadlinks for the most part are pretty underwhelming. They're not something that I would recommend ever running in endgame content or anything like that, because I feel like they could actually use a buff in most cases. But there is one scenario where they are pretty good, and that is typically on Strand Warlock. While you could use this on a Titan or a Hunter and still do serviceable damage thanks to how the perk actually works, and you make your own threadlings just through the weapon alone, it's pretty clear that Warlocks have a bigger punch to throw thanks to their use of spamming threadling nades or using Needle Storm. The general concept here is just throw as many threadlings as you can and then start firing your weapon, and the stacks will build up over time, whether it's through your super, your grenade, or just the weapon shooting itself. The only real downside is that your threadlings and your threadling damage do count towards your spindle stacks, but other people doing the same thing does not. So that means you all need to build up your stacks separately. I do also want to note that the gun itself feels nice and snappy, and it doesn't feel super clunky, for lack of a better term. Kind of like Bastion. Bastion always felt weird when you shot it. I don't know how to explain it other than just the feel of it always felt off to me, and so I was never the biggest fan of it. Not that it was like a terrible gun or anything, but this actually feels nice. Also, I don't know if I'm crazy, but when I shoot it, it sounds like I'm shooting a machine gun. Like something like Fixed Odds, but just, you know, like a baby version because it's only a 3-burst. Is that just me? I also heard people talking about, like, grenade launchers are sounding like trip mines, so maybe it's like an audio bug going around with weapons. I don't know. Anyway, now is the weapon worth getting? I say personally, yes. Not only because the weapon's good, but also the raid is sick as hell, and I think it's the best raid they've ever done, and you should definitely enjoy that content. But yeah, the weapon is really good. It's even better on Warlocks, but potentially Bungie could buff threadlings in the future to make it better on the other 2 classes, so it'll just be going up in value overall. Plus, this is a very unique exotic in that I think it's only the second 3-burst linear outside of the heavy slot that we have, so it's unique in that right. It feels great. This will also absolutely get used in things like GM content, where maybe there's an artifact perk for a season where linear fusions get even more busted. Obviously, there's the aspect of strand surges, and also they added subjugators into the game, and did you know that subjugators take more damage from sources on their element. So, for example, a Strand Subjugator will take more damage from a Strand weapon. And guess what this is? And also, it just hits like a truck. Yeah, it's not Edge Transit. Yeah, it's not like firing 800 rockets with your hop swaps in a row. And yeah, it's not unlimited Celestial Golden Gun Nighthawk Simulator with Still Hunt and 5 hunters on a fire team shooting in the witness's chest until he dies. But hey, instead of 5 Golden Gun Hunters and a well, you can now do 5 Strand Warlocks and a well. And in 6 months, maybe Titans will get the same treatment and they'll have a weapon for themselves as well. Now let me ask you guys a question. Whether you were participating in the World's First Race for Salvation's Edge, or just doing contest mode, or whether you were just a viewer watching your favorite streamers bash their heads in a wall for the 4th encounter, how did you enjoy the raid / the entertainment aspect of it? In the meantime, I'm going to get some sleep so I can work on these raid encounter guides for Salvation's Edge. I'll also put up our first clear as Team Brenda, or Math Class, whatever people know us as, and see if anybody cares about that. Other than that, I also will have prismatic guides out for characters soon. Hopefully just do some more build crafting now that the race is over. And yeah, stay tuned for that. Anyway, if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated. On the way to 40K, if you want to go the extra mile, you can leave a like and or comment below as well. If you don't know what to comment, you could leave Euphony as the comment. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.